I'm Al McFarlane. Welcome to Conversations with Al McFarlane. I'm glad to be here and glad to have you along. Thanks to all of our friends in the community, KFAI, a different radio station every hour, a radio without boundaries, all kinds of wonderful things we can say about KFAI. But this truly is an asset that brings us together in community. And we're pleased to also be able to operate using the beauty of social media, of technology. You know, we are connected with our Insight News and McFarlane Media Facebook page, and we also are now connected on a national basis through the Facebook page of Black Press USA. Wherever you are, we invite you to connect, to be a part of these conversations, to like, to share, to send us questions or comments on our Facebook page, and generally tune in, connect to our wonderful opportunity to engage each other and to present a vision of community, a vision of the world that we think celebrates who we are, our culture, our possibilities. I'm pleased today to have two new friends from the North Memorial Hospital or North Memorial Health Association talking about the critical issues involving health in our community. And the particular angle today, one of them anyway, is how do we look at getting ourselves on the solution side of the equation? North Minneapolis obviously is known and is portrayed as a community beset by health disparities. There are problems, and the problems are part of the system of the social determinants of health, they say. When you have employment issues, you have education issues, you have economic issues, you have transit issues, food issues. All of these add up and they can make life difficult. But we have to also focus on the solution side of the equation. And part of the solution is training our people for opportunities in careers, in health, and in service. So I'm pleased to have a couple of members of the North Memorial Health team with me today to talk about opportunities and their stories. Joining me, Chantal Brzezinski. She's a member of the talent acquisition team at North Memorial Health. She is a passionate advocate for finding the right person for the right role, with a focus on supporting her team members who are seeking additional talent. She's hiring. And so that's what this conversation is going to be about. And then another person who's a North Sider who's been here for 20 years, that's at North Memorial. And that's Caprice Overstreet. She spent the last 20 years at North Memorial Health in a variety of roles and currently leads a team of hospital greeters where she appreciates the opportunity every day to make a positive impact on community members visiting the hospital. Guys, good afternoon. Welcome to Conversations with Al McFarlane. Good to see you.
Thank you so much. Great to be here, and good job on the
Yeah,
pronunciation of my name.
I know it's hard. I'm not hearing you. I'm not sure why. Let me check to see if my volume is up on my apparatus here.
All righty. Is that better? Am I coming in clear now?
Caprice, are you hearing Chantal?
Yeah, I can hear Chantal, and thank you for having me. Chantal, can you hear me pretty well?
I'm not hearing either one of you. That's my problem.
I hear you,
It must be my system.
Okay.
But let me begin while I work this out. I'm going to have you, Chantal, talk about your role. Tell us what it's like to work in healthcare right now. I imagine it's pretty stressful. What do you think?
Yes, you're quite right. North Memorial, like other health institutions across the country, are really facing the issue of trying to find the right people for our roles. Healthcare, whether you are in a clinical role where you're supporting, the patient right by their bed, or you have another position helping the hospital, either in, IT, HR, finance. It's difficult. It's stressful, but it's meaningful. meaningful the work that we do. So I'm really excited to be here today to share the kinds of opportunities that we're currently looking for, and to just, share information about some of the struggles that we have. Fortunately, we are able to find really great and talented people like Caprice to join our team. And that's what we continue to do each and every day that we're here. I myself, so I work in talent acquisition, like Al, you mentioned already. And so my team's job is to really go out into the community in whatever way we possibly can to let our community members know who we are and what we do and how it's different working for North than the other opportunities that are available in our community.
Let me ask, is my colleague Brenda. Brenda, are you in the studio today, if you're here? Kelvin, is Brenda on board today? Yes, she is. Brenda, I'm having a challenge with my audio, so I'm going to ask you to jump in here until I figure out my technology. But
Okay.
I'm seeing Chantal, but I'm not getting the best audio. And if you were there, the next thing I wanted to ask, and you can help me in this, Brenda, for Caprice, the question is how important the work that you do is to you right now. How important is this, particularly in this arena of the pandemic?
Yeah. Again, thanks for having me. The pandemic for North Memorial and for most, I would say all of our team members, has really had a huge impact on just our daily work. It's stressful, it's hard. One of the main objectives is to really, really learn to lead with empathy. Allow our visitors, allow our customers to know that we feel them, we understand them, we want to be here for them. Even in the small amount of minutes that we interact with them from my team, those experiences changes the entire opportunity for them. It's just so important that we lead with empathy, be understanding, help with some of those fears, some of that anxiety. Our overall goal is we all are in this together, whether you are in healthcare or not. It really, really is stressful to not feel like we can, take some time to really guide our empathy, in some more compassionate way. So it is definitely, the pandemic has changed healthcare.
Good afternoon, ladies.
Hi, Miss Brenda.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I think, yes, I think the boss might be back.
I'm back. You go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you go ahead.
Well,
Passing the talking stick.
The technology is amazing, and one thing, technology 101 is turn on the volume. And so that's kind of, I had it off, so my apologies, but it's all good because it just tells you we're all building this ship as we're flying it. And that's true with building healthcare. We all are committed to creating opportunity, to serving our community, to serving the quality of life. And you guys are doing phenomenal work. And so I want to thank you for that. And people who listen to this show know that our tone is conversational. Our intent here is to provide our guests with a way to explain their vision and their version of the world. So I want to make sure that over the course of the next 45 minutes that the things you think are important for people to know about healthcare in our community, about the healthcare profession, about opportunities in healthcare, and about the whole notion of being welcome, Caprice, having a friendly face greet you, and what difference it makes. Because I can tell you that I've been a customer at North Memorial, and I have nothing but mad praise for the organization, for its history and its consistent attitude of involvement, of support, and I think empathy, as well as all that surrounding this professionalism and commitment to quality and health in our community. So it all adds up to me, Caprice, you may have answered this already, but so you've been there 20 years already, right?
Yes.
Why do you continue? I mean, what is it about the place that keeps you there?
Oh, the joy of working, at North Memorial has been amazing. I call myself a lifer here. I started in North Memorial in 2001. And I started in food nutrition services. And I was currently in school at the time. And throughout my journey here, I would say what have kept me here is the leaders. I've experienced some amazing leaders on top of their leaders, on top of their leaders who give you it just builds on relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it sits so deep within my heart that I've had the opportunity to work with some really heartfelt, warm leaders who genuinely care about you as a team member and also as a person. You know, it separates the two where you get someone who truly wants to know, how are you doing? What can I do for you? Here are some resources. And be understanding that no matter the role you do, we all have an impact on healthcare. We all have an impact on our community. And so it's just so powerful that I've been able to travel through this amazing organization with food nutrition services through the current leader that I am, and still have the same experiences for the last 20 years. So that's what keeps me here.
So again, you may have said this, maybe I missed it, but talk about your path. You just review that again for me. You started there. How did you get the invitation to show up and to join the team? And again, list some of the highlights in your career so far.
Absolutely. So again, I started in 2001, in April of 2001. And how I found out about the job at that time was just Googling opportunities. And I came across North Memorial Health, and I had some food service background. And so with that, I just applied to the job and did the normal process through HR, was hired on. Throughout that process, it was amazing. You know, the interview was amazing. The people was amazing. The energy, you know, care about my well-being. And so from dietary, while I was in school, I transitioned to another opportunity with our environmental services department. And they were looking to open up a valet service. And so what does that look like? So I applied to that role as well. And throughout my process of being able to apply to the valet role, I led that role. I led that valet team, and we completely differentiated ourselves from other valet services and healthcare, right? And so as I continued through that process, I took the next role. What does it look like for Caprice within the walls of North Memorial Health? And I applied to a customer experience coach position, and I excelled at that role. And I love being able to make sure that not only our customers and our visitors get unmatched customer service, but our team members as well, right? And so being able to be a customer service or a customer experience coach, I now took upon another role as the supervisor for the Welcome Center. And that's where we engage with literally like about 95% of our community that comes within this hospital. Whether that's for clinical, whether that's for visiting, we have the opportunity to deliver some of the most amazing experiences to anyone who walked through the door. And I am extremely honored and grateful for that opportunity to be able to change, you know, people's experiences when they walk in the door. And it may take just those few minutes, but one of my hands-on things, what I communicate with my team, is to be understanding and use empathy. I really push that. You know, it's so amazing what empathy can do when you have a customer that walk in the door, when you have a visitor that walk through that door, and just looking, you know, just looking for that of customer experience. So we do some amazing work within this organization, and our ambassadors, just as much as our dietary aides, just as much as to any team member here, we are really delivering unmatched customer service here.
I'm Al McFarlane. This is Conversations with Al McFarlane. My guests today are, you just heard her, Caprice Overstreet. She spent the last 20 years working at North Memorial Health in a variety of roles and currently leads a team of hospital greeters. The operative word here is currently leads, because what's been made clear in the past few minutes is that Caprice Overstreet is a leader. that her natural assignment, I think, is one of service and leadership. And it's wonderful that you can sort of testify that where opportunity exists and barriers don't exist, great things can happen. And the great things happen in your life as a leader, as a manager, but also in the life of the community, because you are delivering on the brand expectation of a great institution, and you're delivering on behalf of our people as well. And my other guest is Chantal Brzezinski. She's a member of the talent acquisition team at North Memorial Health. She's been a passionate advocate for finding the right person for the right role, with a focus on supporting the team members who are seeking additional talent. And Chantal, why don't you pick up on where Caprice was about, the leadership at North Memorial. I think my notes here say that things like integrity and people really pulling back the curtain, getting to know you, that's meaningful to you. Talk about that if you would.
Yes, I would love to. So you mentioned integrity. I think transparency is a huge part to go along with that. So I've been with North since November of 2020, so a short amount of time compared to Caprice. But since my time here, it has been amazing just to see how our leaders at various different stages in the organization handle everything that's going on with our world, right? We're still in the midst of a pandemic and understanding how that affects our community and how best to serve them. And when conversations are just starting about, how should we handle or respond to this situation that's happening, we get notified via a little communication that's called the dose. Every employee in the organization receives this, letting us know this is what conversations happening at the administrative level, at the vice president, director, CEO level. So we understand, what's going on right now. Because more often than not, regardless of the role that you have in this organization, when there are changes that are happening, you're going to have questions. And I feel comfortable going to any of my leaders with, hey, I saw this in the news. Do you know how North is going to respond to this? And if if they don't know the answer, it's, oh, you know what? I don't know, but let me find out. Let me talk with, Sam Hansen, the Chief Administrative Officer, and see, if she has any insight we're able to share. Sam, she actually has these little fireside chats that she does every so often, where everyone in her group comes together and we're able to ask her questions, and it's conversational. And we get to understand from her perspective, what's happening, and no question is off limits. And so this is my first time actually being a part of an organization that values that kind of transparency, that wants employees, regardless of the role that you have, whether it's an entry-level dietary aide working in our cafeteria to a physician who's been with our organization for 20 plus years, right? Everyone is important. Everyone, it's vital for everyone to be informed, and our leaders see that. Also on the personal level of just getting to know you, right now we don't have as many people who are on site. We still have some, employees are working from home and some who are still working here, but going throughout the halls, if there's someone who knows you, they will say hello, regardless of how busy they are. They'll be like, oh, hey, how are you doing? I'm sorry, I have to run off to a meeting, but still taking the time to actually have a conversation with you and actually care about, oh, I heard that, your daughter had a swim meet. How did that go? That personalization, especially with over 6,000 employees across our organization, that's amazing. And you don't see that everywhere. And that's something I've been privileged to see since I've been here.
Talk about, Chantal, the range of opportunities in the healthcare industry. Here's an Al McFarlane statement, one that I throw out all the time. And that is that, I was growing up, my grandma would say, boy, you better mind your business, right? And she meant that in terms of just paying attention, focus. But she also meant that in terms of, what does it mean in every element, every area of your life? And so I have said and been saying to our community, our health is our business. And we need to mind our business, just like my grandma said, right? And so how do we educate our people? How do we create this idea in the mind of our community that there are many, many ways, many, many venues, platforms, strategies, careers that all integrate, add up to minding our business, teaching us and encouraging us to believe that our health is our business, that this is a business worth being in. What do you think, Chantal?
I love that question. I think that there's definitely been a shift in healthcare. Before, like 50 years ago, right, the concept was you go to the doctor tells you this is the medication you need to use, this is what you need to follow, and then you leave. But right now, and what North is trying to do is, this is a discussion. We're working together to figure out, what does your best life for you mean, right? And that's just not at the physician level, that's all across the organization. So when you come in and you need support and you talk with Caprice's team, they guide you on your individualized journey within the hospital, whatever that may be. For me in HR, if you come to one of our job fairs or you reach out to us asking about the status of an application and you're wanting to know, hey, it seems like I wasn't a good fit for this, I don't know where to start. What do you think? I actually had that conversation earlier this morning with someone who applied for a position and she didn't quite have the right qualifications for it, but I let her know, hey, there's this other opportunity for you that I think would be a great fit that could lead to this other position that you really want. And so I think that's a part of the conversation for many people when they hear hospital, they think, oh, I have to be a nurse, I have to be a doctor, I have to be, an EMT in order to work here. And yes, we definitely have a need for all of those positions, but there's a lot more going into that. The one thing I like to mention too, if English is your second language, and for a lot of the people in our community, that's the case, right? We do have positions available where you're able to, after you get hired, actually practice your English language skills and improve them, especially so we call it environmental services, but that's our housekeeping team. They make sure that the hospital is in its best shape to make sure that all of our customers, that's what we call our patients, all of the customers who come in have that, clean, welcoming environment available for them. And with those positions, you're able to come in with, an entry level of reading and writing and understanding of English, and then practice that while on the job. So we do have entry level positions like that are available that allow you to, get your foot in the door and understand, how does a hospital work behind the scenes? And then from there, actually transfer to other positions in the organization. And that's something that for me, I absolutely love seeing.
I'm Al McFarlane. This is Conversations with Al McFarlane. I'm talking with Chantal Brzezinski. She's an HR leader at North Memorial Health. And Chantal, I'm going to ask you to, just as an exercise, list the range of employment opportunities in a health business, a health environment. And the reason I want you to do this is because I'm sure there'll be things that people don't think about. Like you said, you think hospital, nurse, doctor, maybe you think food service, maybe you think, radiologist, but there probably is so much more. And so I'm going to give you an exercise. Go through your catalog of the kinds of jobs you're trying to fill, the kind of people you're trying to hire. And let's expand people's consciousness about this pathway for opportunity in the healthcare industry, particularly at North Memorial Health.
I love that. Yes. So we do, of course, have our environmental services team. So that's housekeeping, dietary aids, of course, like you just mentioned. We also have drivers. So people who are interested in becoming an EMT or paramedic, they can start in a driver role, and in that role actually take the time to get those certifications to move up to other positions.
What does a driver do?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our drivers, they actually drive the ambulances that we have. And we have quite a few ambulance bases all across the state of Minnesota, as well as some parts of Wisconsin as well.
So a driver is not an EMT.
Nope, because they don't have that certification. Exactly.
Boy, I'm learning something. Okay, great.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, a lot of our team members who start as drivers after 6 months or so, a lot of them are able to transition to full-time EMT roles. So they're able to provide that bedside service, in case of emergency, having that a little bit of medical background to triage right there. And then we also have, paramedics as an option too. And then, for our members of our community who have that clerical background, right? We have clinic office assistants in our clinics that are all across the state of Minnesota. And let's see here, our IT department, we actually work with a local college where we bring interns on site, and our IT department is amazing. They take time to work closely with these students to, for many of them, they actually transition to full-time IT roles. And that's amazing being able to do that, because IT in healthcare is its own separate beast sometimes as far as the certifications that are required. So I love the fact that we're able to offer those opportunities. Our HR team too.
Which college do you work with? Which college do you work with?
We work closely with Hennepin Tech,
Okay,
specifically for IT programs. So
great institution. Excellent.
They are. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, absolutely amazing. The students that they let us know about that we bring onto our team are phenomenal. So I absolutely love our partnership with them. So yeah, there's a wide variety, including for those who are interested down the line and working remotely, we have our customer service representative positions. So those, I say it's like in a call center environment just because you're going to be on the phone all the time. So for our customers who call in and have questions about, my chart isn't working, where, who can help me with that? I need to set up an appointment. All kinds of questions like that our customer service reps handle. And they have about 3 to 4 weeks of on-site training. And then after that, they have the ability to work remotely. So if we have anyone in the community where that's an option for them, that's a really, really great opportunity. So lots of different positions that you typically wouldn't think of when you think of, healthcare, but they're just as needed as the clinical ones.
Let me throw some out and see if I'm guessing the right way or not. I'm thinking about marketing, for example, thinking about communications, thinking about planning. How do facilities get decided whether they're going to open or close or be built? Is that done internally inside the organization? Do outside consultants do that? How does an organization grow structurally, financially, and beyond? What roles are there that provide that leadership to both understand the need in the market, trends in market, and capabilities both that exist and that need to be brought online to keep the organization vibrant and responsive to the changing marketplace? What do you think?
That's a really great question. So I know that our marketing team is absolutely phenomenal at taking a look at those who are currently on the team and what strengths that they have in order to be able to do a lot of what you mentioned. As far as how the organization actually goes about implementing those changes, unfortunately, I don't have the answer for that, but I can definitely follow up with you and let you know.
Okay, that's reporting 101, right? If I don't know the answer, I'll let you know. That's great. So let's see. So for somebody considering looking for a job right now, and you've already said this, I'll ask you again. Maybe Caprice, you can jump in here. What would you tell somebody? You're not the HR person, but you run across somebody in church or in the neighborhood that knows you're there. What do you tell them if they're asking about, is there a place for me at North Memorial? You have to unmute Caprice.
There we go. Thank you. For myself, because I do consider myself a lifer, I always just be completely transparent about my journey. I share with them about what I've been through as far as leadership, just personal experiences. I feel like that plays a huge role and getting others to partake in different organizations. They want to hear your story, your journey, the impact it has had on you. And then also to piggyback with Chantal, we offer tuition reimbursement, And so when you come in, whatever role that is, and you want to continue your education, North Memorial support you in that, right? We want to continue to allow you to feel like you're growing, you're learning. I just had one of my own ambassadors who did not know about the tuition reimbursement. And so when I remembered him sharing that he was in school, just checking in, see how things was going, and I shared with him, I say, "Hey, are you aware of the tuition reimbursement?" And he was completely like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah." So we did it together. That's the leadership that I had. And so being able to share those experiences of what I've had, what I continue to do for my own team is just phenomenal. So me personally is just sharing my personal experiences of what I've had with leadership here and how they're extremely hands-on and wanting you to excel at what you do or what you're looking to do.
I'm Al McFarlane. This is Conversations with Al McFarlane. I'm meeting two new friends of mine. They both are team members, leaders at North Memorial Health. Chantal Brzezinski is a member of the talent acquisition team at North Memorial. I translate that to mean HR, right, in the traditional sense. And Caprice Overstreet has been with the organization for over 20 years. She says she was hired in 2001, maybe 2000. And, Caprice, that seems like no time at all, but it's hard. 20 years is actually 20 years.
Yes.
It's a little bit of time, but that's how fast time is moving. So I spend this show, guys, asking my guests about their personal stories, and I'm going to do the same thing with you. And I tell people there's no gotcha question. This is not gotcha journalism. This is a guy named Al McFarlane who's genuinely interested in the beauty that people bring to everyday living. And I can tell by this conversation that the two of you, and probably reflective of your teammates, your colleagues, your families, bring beauty into the world every day. And I want to say that I see that and I respect it. And in that spirit, I want to engage you about your personal story. You talked about moving into the opportunity 20 years ago, Caprice. What's your own background? You're a North Sider, right? You live right here in North Minneapolis, right near me, I think. I'm a North Sider.
Yes, yes.
Plymouth and Thomas is where I am. I've been here since 73. I've been here a long, long time. Tell me about you, Caprice.
So I moved here in Minnesota when I was 12 and I resided in North Minneapolis, 26 in Bryant. Currently, it's now where Lucy Laney is, elementary school. I am currently still in North Minneapolis. I love our community, and I love the fact that North Memorial is a part of that community, right? And throughout my journey of just being a community girl at heart, that's what I call myself, is because I have opportunities to not only be in the community, living it, mentoring in it, and then working in it, right? And so for me, it's dear to my heart that I get all three of these opportunities to find ways to create different experiences, whether it's through customer service, whether it's with, having those hard conversations about, traveling down personal journeys. It makes the difference. It makes the difference just being able to be hands-on with so many different things. And so for me, being in the community and having an organization that I work with, not work for, I always say work with because we work as a team here. It's the game changer for me. And I love being a part of that.
You came here at 12. Where did you come from? Tell me about your family.
Chicago. I came from Chicago, Illinois, with my mother and my siblings. And we were, like I said before, we resided in North Minneapolis. I went to high school at Roosevelt, so I was a Teddy. And throughout my journey from high school, I was a teen mom. I have no, shyness about sharing this. I was a teen mom. What does that look like, right? And so just being able to still believe in myself and having your family believe in you is great. It's so heartwarming, right? But now that you are currently working with the organization who also believes in you, that's what makes the difference as well. And so you just have your family, you have your work, your organization, your leaders, and it's all just coming together.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to build from being here from 2001 in food nutrition services, going to school, being a mom, and continuing to grow and elevate myself in the community and in an organization that supports me. So I'm happy.
And I'm so impressed, and hats off to you, because that's really what it's all about. That's what it's about, is having the opportunity to see a future that makes sense for you,
Mm-hmm.
and having the chance to work for those things that mean something, that give you the chance to build and to serve and to have a family. And so, family means everything to me. And obviously your mom was just a powerful resource in your life, who brought the family here, I'm sure, for opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about your lineage. I asked people, what do you know about your mom and your mom's mom and your mom's mom? Do you have any idea of your genealogy, your lineage?
So for myself personally, my mom, I wasn't really raised by my mother.
Mm-hmm.
She did bring us here, and then some things happened where,
Mm-hmm.
We ended up being divided. So I was raised by my older sister.
Okay.
And so throughout that journey,
Are you comfortable talking about it? Because if you're not, don't.
yes, I am. I am
Okay.
completely comfortable with sharing
Okay.
that. So my sister raised me,
Mm-hmm.
and she was one of my biggest fans.
Mm-hmm.
She would always let me know, I'm your biggest fan. And to this day, I tell my children that I root for you more than anyone will, whatever that looks like. How can we see it through, And so being a teen mom and her never giving up on me and pushing me to the limit, to knowing that I can do anything, it challenged me. It really challenged me. It opened up some hard conversations. It opened up some crying conversations. It opened up a lot of many things, right? And so throughout my journey of being a teen mom and just being able to figure out what this is going to look like for my life, I had an opportunity to work in North Memorial, right? And she just really gave me some authentic love, some real deep love that it's just amazing. And I get teary-eyed from it because she's resting in heaven at this time. And she never stops to this day. I still feel her. She's just an amazing person.
Well, say her name. Let's give her a respect and praise.
Absolutely. Her name is Tanisha Overstreet.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's with you all the time.
Absolutely. She is with me every day. Every day. I have her picture sitting right in front of me as we speak.
Well, that means a lot. That means a lot. So the word I'm learning now is to refer to the people that have departed as transitioning and becoming ancestors, and ancestors are with us all the time. And so it's as we develop cultural sophistication and awareness, we really are going back to the knowledge systems that we had before we entered the Western world. And we're discovering new ways for being connected, new ways for knowing, for seeing, and for healing. And we discovering ourselves as healers. And I think what you are describing, the passion that you use in describing how you approach your role at North Memorial, is a path that can only be described as a person that's motivated to heal and to help. And I think that's kind of who we are, who you are. And thank you for being that. Chantal, let me bring you into the conversation. You've had some time to think about this. He said, he's going to ask me the same question. The answer is yes, I am. Tell me about your personal story, your background.
Yeah.
And to the degree that you're comfortable talking about it,
Of course. And Caprice, I didn't know that you were originally from Chicago in Illinois. I'm actually originally from Illinois as well. I was born and raised there, right? Yeah. Small world. And let's see, I actually ended up getting married in Illinois. I moved to Wisconsin, stayed there for 7 years or so, and actually moved to the Twin Cities last year. So I'm relatively new to the community here, and trying my best to learn about who is here and what their stories are. Like you, Al, I love understanding where people come from. My family is a very, very mixed family from a cultural perspective. So my mom's family has European ancestry, and my dad's family, I'm actually not quite sure. Um, and it's something I've always been interested in, and really sad that I may never understand where my dad's ancestors come from.
Mhm.
Someplace in Africa, but where, and what are the cultural, societies that surrounded where, his ancestors come from, to be able to understand them myself. Kind of really sad about that, unfortunately. But I've got, some older brothers, two older brothers and a younger sister. And my younger sister looks like me, but my two older brothers don't. So it's always a journey when all of our family goes out together, because we look so different from one another. At one point in time, someone asked me, when I was with one of my brothers who's 10 years older than me, "Oh, is that your boyfriend?" And I was like, no, that's my brother. That's my brother. I know he looks different than me, but trust me, we're blood related.
Right.
But when Caprice was talking about her older sister, I was thinking of my younger sister, and she's 4 years younger than I am, and she also was a teen mom as well. And she is one of the most inspirational people that I've ever met in my entire life. I don't know how she does everything that she does.
Hmm.
She has two beautiful boys who are slowly growing into teenagers. And seeing how she handles them, the grace and the compassion and the patience that she has, she
Mhm.
definitely did not have with me when I was younger.
Right.
But just seeing, how she is as a Black woman in the world inspires me to be the best person I can. And I hope that throughout the years that she was able to see me, and I was able to provide that for her as well. And now it's just, trying to find my place in the community here and understanding what that is.
Mhm.
Caprice is definitely someone that I look up to, just because of not only the role that she has here, but also, the roles that she plays in our community and for people of color. And, me as a newbie, just trying to find out where I fit in and where I can make my own little niche.
Oh, thank you, Chantal.
So what's your training, Chantel? How did you prepare for this field of work that you're in?
Oh, yes. So I've had a few different HR roles previously. I've done recruiting. I've been an HR generalist. I'm currently in school to finally get my bachelor's degree, and I'm really
Mhm.
excited. I graduate next May, and
Well, congratulations.
thank you. It's management information systems. So I tell
Mhm.
people computer science and business had a baby, and it's MIS. But really, HR is just about people, right?
Mhm.
Wanting to have a conversation with them. What are you really interested in? I understand what you're doing right now, but what are you really interested in? And how can I get you there? I love empowering people. That's a
Mhm.
huge passion of mine. So being able to have those real, frank conversations. A lot of people don't always know what education they need to take in order to get to where they need to go. They don't
Mhm.
know where that first step is to, go that, those several miles to get to that end destination. And I like to be the person to help clear things up for them. That's what I love to do.
I'm Al McFarlane. This is Conversations with Al McFarlane. My guest, two beautiful, wonderful human beings, wonderful people, leaders in community. You were just listening to Chantal Brzezinski. She's in HR at North Memorial Health. She's a member of the talent acquisition team. She's looking for people to fill the many, many positions at North Memorial. And before we leave, Chantal, I want you to be able to let people know how they can connect with you or with the institution if they are looking for a job or have a career change or just curiosity, and then along with Chantal Brzezinski, her colleague Caprice Overstreet, Caprice leads the team of hospitality greeters, but she's been a leader in a number of roles over her 20-year history as a part of the North Memorial Health team. I'm so happy to. Oh, let me say this as a disclosure. Your company, North Memorial, does reach out to the Black community that I serve as an advertiser in Inside News. So I want to make sure that in the spirit of transparency, I let our listeners and viewers know that your company is a customer of Inside News and McFarlane Media. Beyond that, Caprice and Chantal, can either one take this or both respond to it. What do you feel we need to do as a community to learn more and to feel more empowered, to be more stewards, agents of our own health and well-being? And how do we teach ourselves to see healthcare as not only having access to things when you're in crisis, like you break a leg, you break a finger, you have a heart attack, but the healthcare industry really is about that plus more. It's about helping people understand their role. And I think you said it, Chantal, how people used to just you're sick, you go to the doctor, you sit there silently as he or she prescribes what you take and what you do, and you're kind of passive and hopeful. But now that's changed, and people now are being educated and encouraged to see themselves as co-equal partners, participants in the healing process. So how do we get our community, Caprice, to think of itself as a healing environment? How do we get ourselves to rethink and to re-envision the neighborhood as a place of healing, the relationships that we have between each other as relationships based on an intent and a desire that we be a healing resource to each other, with a smile, with a kind word, with a reference. I'm just throwing this out there. Caprice, what do you think? And Chantal, you think about it too. Let's have a conversation.
Again, for me, that leads with empathy, healing, being understanding. Our community, for me, is demonstrating empathy, because we've all been somewhere where it's been uncomfortable. We've all been somewhere in healthcare where our anxiety is very, very high. We've all been in a community where we've lost a loved one. We've been there. So to tap into healthcare and to tap into the community of healing, it's coming together. It's being able to allow the community to know that, yes, we are a part of a healthcare system, but we understand, we've all been there, And one of the things that I use as my guiding principle for personally is that I always try to find something positive at something that potentially feel like it's a negative. It's very hard some days, right? It's hard to try to switch that gear. But one of the things that I always say, and Chantal, you probably seen this in my emails, I always say, create a great day. I don't say have a good day. I always say create, because we have a choice. We have a choice in how our day goes. We choose these avenues of what our day should look like. And so if we can take the time to not only create that best day for us, but allow someone else to create a great day for them with a smile, you can smile through your eyes, you don't have to have your mask pulled down, which I don't have one on right now. So I'm thankful that no one is in this space at this moment. But just finding ways to heal for the community is being, open-minded to receive the resources that's given to you. I love being able to receive a resource and being able to give that to one of my ambassadors. I love that my leader gives me resources and always remind me to make sure I take care of myself. I just had a one-on-one with my leader today, and she's like, I just want you to make sure you take care of you. I don't want you to burn out. I want you to be healthy.
Mhm.
What can I do for you? Makes the difference.
Chantal, jump in
I
here.
love that. Yes, I love that. And I was actually going to approach this from a personal perspective. So for me, I'm definitely a very, very proud person. My thought process for the longest time was like, oh, it's okay. I can handle this and I can, help everyone else. But as far as me seeking help myself, it's very, very difficult for me. And I've been going through some difficult situations with family members and their health lately. And my current leader reminded me of a resource that we have here on site, which is a resilience coach to help us through difficult situations, either at work or personally. And I told myself, you need to do this. You are always one of the first people to jump in to help others. You need to help yourself too. And I think that's really hard for our community, right? Especially women of color. We're constantly told you have to be strong. You have to be strong. You have to support other people. But a part of that is being able to reach out for help when you need it most. And I did make that appointment and I did meet with that resilience coach. And it's been so helpful just to have someone else listen and understand and help me troubleshoot, how I can be a better version of myself to support my family at home as well as my family here at North. Right. So like Caprice was saying, having empathy for others, but as well as for yourself. Understand that you're not going to know everything and there's not the expectation that you know everything. And that it is going to be a scary journey, especially if you have had poor experiences in previous hospital visits at, other locations. Being able to be like, you know what? My health is important because when I'm healthy, I'm able to serve my community more. I'm able to support my family more. So I need to be able to find this information to be my best self. And North has helped me do that. And it's really great when I'm able to see my colleagues and how they're improving. And even when I get the chance to talk with our patients who come in and see the smile on their face when they leave, knowing that they, receive the support that they needed to be their best selves, is absolutely phenomenal.
Let's take a minute, Chantal, and let people know, listeners and viewers, how they can connect with the opportunities at North Memorial. How do they get in touch with you guys?
Exactly. So the best way is going to be visiting our career site. That's going to be northmemorial.com/careers. So North, North, Memorial, MEMORIAL.com/careers. And there's also a number as well that they can call in case they don't have internet access. And that's going to be 763-581-6947. And they can learn more about opportunities that way as well.
Great, great, great. And Chantal, let's see, I was thinking about your name, Chantal Brzezinski. I said, so I know you get this all the time. Where does that name come from? That's number one. And I'm saying it with a smile on my face for those who are listening and not seeing it. I'm saying it in appreciation for the many, what's the right word for it? The many ways we come into the world and we present in the world and connections. Yeah, you probably are smiling at me when you say, oh, his name is McFarlane, right? That's a good old Irish name. So what is Brzezinski?
Yes, Brzezinski is actually a Polish last name. It's my now ex-wife's last name, but she is an absolutely amazing person. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and keep it.
Okay, wonderful. Well, it's a great name,
Thank you.
and it's good to see it. And Caprice, same thing with you. Overstreet, I knew some Overstreets growing up in Kansas City. That's where I'm from. And so the name was familiar to me because of that. You ever think about your name and the origin or anything?
Yeah, well, I never really thought about the origin, but I know it definitely came from my grandmother's side. She was married into the name. And so I love it because it's very unique. And it's different. It was at first I thought I was the only Overstreet here at North Memorial Health. And I went into the cafeteria, and one of the cashiers like, there's a guy who works here, has the exact same last name for you. So in my previous role as a customer experience coach, we go out to the within the healthcare system, and we give our team members just some coaching on how can we take the customer experience to the next level. And so when we got into that department, I seen his name on the roster. I'm like, oh my gosh, there he is. And I'm so excited. So I was able to meet another Overstreet, and we always call each other like brother, sister kind of deal from the last name, but I love it.
We're down to our last minute. I want to take a second just to ask you what you both tell people they can and should be doing in the age of the pandemic. How should we be mindful? What does minding your business mean in terms of keeping safe and doing the right thing in this COVID environment? Caprice, you first, and then Chantal, I'll let you close us out.
Stay safe. I know that, some have their, ideas about the vaccination and some don't. So I just say, make the best choice to make sure that you're keeping your family safe and you safe. It's very difficult and it's very challenging when so many different people have their own perception of what this looked like with this pandemic. So my overall thoughts are just stay safe, stay healthy. You are the pilot of your healthcare. Wonderful. And be able to just, stay healthy.
30 seconds, Chantal, a word of advice, and give the phone number or contact again one more time.
Of course. So, of course, educating yourself, taking care of your health, because as long as you do that, you'll be able to take care of those who mean the most around you. And the best way to reach us is going to be 763-581-6947. And you can ask for me when you do.
Great. I'm Al McFarlane. This is Conversations with Al McFarlane. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Chantal. Thanks, Caprice. Brenda Lyle, thank you. Take care.
Thanks so much.
Oh, Queen Justice, where are you? Did they beat you up or no? Lock you on the ground, take the crown away from you?
Oh, Lady Liberty, red, white, and blue. Did they take your dignity with their bigotry? Teach you that you're born to lose?
Free or guilty, it's gonna get filthy. Better believe. Roll up your sleeves, it's gonna get rough, it's gonna be tough. We all agree, we've had enough.
We've had enough
of all the rules you break.
We've had enough
of all the money you make.
We've had enough.
No more life at stake.
We've had enough.
This is a proclamation.
It's been 400 years and we're 400 late. Together we stand from state to state. Going back in time won't make America great. We need justice now, people won't wait.
Action, no more distraction. Every step we take, we gain traction. If it can happen to one, it can happen to all. United we stand, divided we fall. Free or guilty, it's gonna get filthy. Better believe, roll up your sleeves. It's gonna get rough, it's gonna be tough. We all agree, we've had enough.
We've had enough
of all the rules you were breaking.
We've had enough
of all the money you were making.
We had enough.
No more life gets taken.
We had enough.
This is a proclamation.
Free or guilty, it's gonna get filthy. You better believe, just roll up your sleeves.
It's gonna get rough, it's gonna be tough. We all agree, we've had enough.
We've had enough
of all the rules you're breaking.
We've had enough.
All the money you're making.
We've had enough.
No more life gets taken.
We've had enough.
This is the proclamation.
We've had enough.
Trayvon Martin and Tommy Rice.
We've had enough.
Michael Brown and Eric gonna pay the price.
We've had enough.
Philando, Breonna, George Floyd.
What? We've had enough.
So many gone, how can we fill the void?
How can we feel?
We had enough. John Crawford, I know you've heard.
We've had enough.
Sandra Bland, come on and take a stand.
We've had enough.
Sean Bell,
Sean Bell.
what the hell?
We've had enough.
nation.